Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Tuesday, November 21st, 2017. And here are some of today's trends in the news. On the market front, over there in Asia, up. Over there in Europe, up. Here in the States, up. S&P 500, another record. That's right. Oil's even up a little bit. So too is gold. Bitcoin, bloop, flat. But those other cryptocurrencies are moving up. We don't see any end in sight for that. I'll be writing more about it in the next edition of the Trends Journal, which will be out very soon. And our forecast of what's going to happen in the markets. Again, yes, the markets are going up, but the valuations are at all-time highs. We'll tell you what we see next. S&P 500 closes at record highs, and they're saying those tech stocks drove it up. Also, the expectations that Trump tax plan looks like it's going to be pushing through, and it'll be good news for the big corporations. And also the earnings numbers came out, and they're pretty good. Investors digested strong earnings from some of the biggest U.S. companies. Also, what we have over here is some data. On the Chicago Federal National Activity Index front, it rose in October. Existing home sales rose more than expected in October. What's going to happen when interest rates go up? And it's not about just going up over there in December, as most of the odds say they will. It's about the 3 more coming in the next year, as the forecast is showing. If that happens, we see a reversal that's going to be pretty sharp. On the oil front, oil went up a little bit today on the expectations that OPEC and Russia are going to continue to extend that cut beyond March of 1.8 million barrels a day. Will that be enough? We don't think so, but again, a lot of tensions building in the Middle East. Lebanon and Hezbollah are saying secure the borders. They're waiting for war to break out at any moment. Destabilization in the Middle East, more blame going on about Iran's doing it, Hezbollah's doing it, and those lovely Saudis, the prince, the crown prince of peace, a piece of garbage. Yeah, that's the piece that he is. Everybody's talking about, these Houthi missiles that went over and almost hit the airport near Riyadh. How dare they, after the United States and Saudi Arabia and the UK all involved in this, in a 2.5-year war that slaughtered over 15,000 Yemenis, 500,000 Yemeni children dead by the end of this year. How dare they try to attack Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia is another exceptional, like the United States. They could attack anybody that they want. But when you fight back, you as a militant. No, you as a terrorist. Yeah, what a bunch of...
That was bullshit.
That's all it is. Day after day. That's the media. Bullshit. Anyway, I have to be polite. You have to be polite, Mr. Celente. It's okay when they slaughter millions of people. Be proper about it. Be like those English. Yes, you need a stiff upper lip. You need a stiff you-know-what up you-know-where. Save it, Jack. Don't want to hear about it anymore. Keep your comments to yourself. You're a bunch of cowards who won't speak out. And when I do, because you don't have the guts to, and of course I'm not talking to Trends Journal subscribers, those other folks, you take after people like me that do have the courage, and then you send me these BS letters of why I should be more proper and bend over and take it like you do, as they slaughter millions around the world and steal trillions of our dough to do it. Moving on to gold. Gold went up a little bit, dollar went down a little bit, but again, when interest rates go up, they say that the next December rate in there is figured into gold, and it's fluctuating where it is, but next year is going to be the big change, and we agree to an extent. Writing more about it in the Trends Journal. You have our gold forecast in it. It'll be out soon. You'll see where it's going. And we've been right on target with this for 3 years in calling the movements of gold. OECD sees slower growth. Yep. The slowdown from 0.8% growth recorded in the second quarter to down to 0.6%. Well, not a big downturn, but nonetheless, not a lot of activity. And the slowdown came from Japan, the United States, and France. Norway oil fund calls time on oil majors. Norway's vast sovereign wealth fund, fueled by earnings from country's North Sea oil riches, is set to dump its investment in oil and gas stocks. Again, going back to oil prices, the only way we see them going up is destabilization in the Middle East, what's going on in Venezuela and other oil-rich producing nations. Other than that, the Norwegians know what they're doing. They see a cap on the price of oil, and they're getting out of the fund, and an estimated 6% of the fund is invested in that sector. Tencent becomes first Chinese group to enter elite $500 billion market cap and joins the elite group dominated by the U.S. and putting it within reach of Facebook's $522 billion valuation. Hey, no surprise. Look at your top trends for 2017. Silicon Valley, yep, Rust Belt 2.0, buy and sell China, all there. You can see where this is moving. The business of China is business. The business of America is war. This is a new century. The 20th century was the American century. As things are shaping now, it's going to be the Chinese century. Little known outside China, Tencent dominates its home turf thanks in part to Beijing's block on Facebook. Yep, that's right. Different rules in China. Yay, you want to open up a company over there and manufacture something? You can't do it unless you become a minority partner with a Chinese company. Hey, you want to import your cars from the U.S. to China? It's only a 25% tariff, but we'll sell you everything you want over here, and suckers will buy it because of Bill Clinton, because of George Bush, Obama, and all the rest that gave this country away with those dirty deals. FCC to roll back web rules. Isn't that nice? Yep. As I said yesterday, the FCC is also making it possible so those bigger corporations, the 6 that own 90% of the broadcast media, can now take on more. And now they're changing the rules of net neutrality. And from the president and executive officer of the Internet Association, quote, consumers are paying for access to the entire Internet, and Internet providers should not be able to discriminate against websites and apps. And under this new rule, paid prioritization was explicitly blocked, which required Internet service providers to keep all corners of the Internet equally accessible to consumers and limited the provider's ability to favor content, including their own. The new rules are expected to thoroughly dismantle the open Internet plan. Isn't that nice? More power in the hands of a few. It's America, the land of opportunity. Forget about it. All gone. It's in the numbers. Remember, 3 people, Bezos, Buffett, and Gates, have more dough than half the nation's population combined. The bigs get bigger, and us little people get smaller. You know, buy the buzz, buy the buzz. Don't buy the buzz. That's the Trend Research slogan for people that get caught up in the hype. And that's all they do. Again, goes back to the bigs owning it all. Their voice is the one heard. Uber hails 24,000 Volvo SUVs for big push into driverless taxi industry. Yep. The new deal will see Uber purchase up to 24,000 XC90 vehicles between 2019 and 2021. Chinese-owned company, by the way, Volvo. In the self-driving world, there is no human, so you need redundant steering and braking and actuation systems such that if there is an electrical or mechanical failure, the backup systems can kick in, said Jeff Miller, Uber's head of automotive partnerships. You know what that is.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
Hey, go back to your trend alert. Trend alert. Here's what we said about driverless cars. Huh? But we're going against the buzz because that's the Financial Times, the New York Times. Uber in deal with Volvo to buy self-driving cars for its future network. Uber in pact for self-driving Volvos. This is the only business news in a whole world. You get it? Money talks. The rest of us walk. There is no fourth estate anymore. It's a fifth estate. It's paid off to put out the propaganda, whether it's wars, whether it's hyping companies, or whatever it might be. That's what we're getting. We don't see this happening at all. Again, we only put out the information so people can invest wisely. We do not give investment advice. The facts are there in front of you, as we spoke yesterday about the electrical car baloney. More buzz than fact. When in fact in China last year, they sold under 400,000 electrical vehicles out of 21 million vehicles sold. More buzz than reality. And what else? Over there in Germany, Merkel vows to stand firm after collapse of coalition negotiations. German leader rejects resignation talks. Boy, she's sad over here, huh? Another Hillary Clinton. They can't stand losing. Yep, one after another. Whether it's Merkel or Mugabe, they don't want to leave office. They like to stay where they are. I don't want to go. It's happening in every country. Over there in Cambodia, yep. Cambodia opposition party banned. Opposition politicians and government critics have described the case as a move by Hun Sen, who has held power since 1985, to eliminate the CNRP challenge in next year's national elections. Oh, Mugabe's only been there since 1980. This guy, 1985. Merkel there forever. Oh, and you know what knocked Merkel out? Exactly what we said would when everyone was saying we were wrong in the major media, and that's the AFP, the Alternative for Deutschland, and the major issue's been the migration crisis, the refugee crisis caused in part by Germany and the rest of Europe with the overthrow of Muammar Gaddafi, the destruction of Afghanistan, the destruction of Syria, and the destruction of Iraq. Wonder how these refugees got here. I can't figure it out. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Anti-graft panel arrests speaker in Indonesia. The commission arrested one of the country's most powerful politicians. I only mention this. Another country, another scam. The whole thing, anybody that wants to rule you, they should go see a psychiatrist. Anybody that wants power over other people, save it, man, because this is the kind of cats that they are. U.S. airstrikes in Afghanistan open a campaign targeting Taliban opium labs. More propaganda from the toilet paper record when the Taliban was in charge. These are facts. Before George W., the murderer Bush, decided to invade Afghanistan, there was virtually no opium production. That is a fact. Mass killer with dark, incredible place in the American psyche. Charles Manson, one of the most notorious murderers of the 20th century, was very likely the most culturally persistent and perhaps the most inscrutable, died on Sunday. I say he's just one of the mass murderers of the United States. I would put Obama in the league of this guy. How many people has Obama mercifully murdered? Oh, just another sick guy, huh? Yeah, wearing a different outfit in a different position. Hey, how about George W. Murderer Bush? Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction and ties to Al-Qaeda, folks. How about Slick Willie Murderer Clinton? You know, you love that Yugoslav war. What makes one murderer different than the other murderer? Hey, they're in the White House. You got a red carpet for them. They deserve to be saluted. Yeah, they're the president. Hail to the chief. Bow down, suck up. Tell me, what makes those murderers different? Hey, quote, I'm really good at killing people, Obama. Hey, right in there with Manson maybe, huh? I'm not saying they are. I'm just putting the facts out there. You know the Trends Journal motto. Think for yourself. Assad has to go. Gaddafi has to go. Hussein has to go. The Taliban have to go. Yeah, they should all go to hell. All these murderers. Call them what you want and call a spade a spade. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's Trends in the News.